You work with the opposite sex at work. We go to church with the opposite sex. We go to the mall with the opposite sex. The opposite sex is everywhere. Why would you have a problem with the opposite sex?
Welcome back oh my gosh, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then you're most welcome to stay and become a part of this beautiful family by clicking on the red button below, which is the subscribe button. And if you're a returning subscriber, then welcome back.
We come back.
As you guys can see, I have a special guest with me. Before we get into that, I just want to say to you guys that we have been on YouTube for 1 year already, and my very first video was a relationship video name, so we are doing that part 2
a year later,
yes. I've submitted the tag on my Instagram a while back, but then unfortunately I couldn't do the video with the people I asked to do because of COVID. Yeah, let's blame it on COVID. So, but I have with me my brother.
Really?
Yes, introduce yourself.
Hello everybody, it's me again. You know me, Tlhogi, Bopape. Yeah, I happen to live with this person, but yes.
Yes, he does.
We look forward to doing this and talking about the things that people want to talk about.
Yes. Alrighty guys, so this series is going to be divided into 3 episodes. The first one, we're only talking about dating. Only dating. He's married, by the way. He's not single. So
really?
Yeah, it's important to mention.
Oh, okay, I didn't know I'm married, but now that you're reminding
he's very
me.
much married with a child, like
limiting
one
the
child.
market.
Yes, so he's going to be helping us talk about dating. He's the perfect person. There's something on my hair. It's not my hair, but he's the perfect person to ask for this, because me myself, I've had the conversations with him around dating, so I know that he gives sound advice without any judgment,
at your own risk.
Yeah, actually at your own risk, because he can be very, very honest and transparent, which is what we like here on this channel. So don't hold back. Please don't hold back. And then the 2 other episodes will be married couple, a young couple, and the last episode will be a much older couple, and they'll also be answering some of the questions that you guys have asked. All right, are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Like let's get the show on the road.
Okay, let me start with, I think I'm gonna ask every couple this. How do you know that he's the one or she's the one?
That starts with, what do you want in a person?
Okay.
You need to have a shopping list when you go looking for a spouse. If you go looking for anything, you'll come back home with a monkey. So you need to make sure that you've got a shopping list. You need to have certain qualities, certain characteristics, that you want in a person. And when those qualities meet what you want, and you find a person that meets your own specification, then that becomes the first step to knowing whether this person is the one or not.
Okay.
Based on some other factors like your competition. She's got all. So you find that you'll find a person that's got all these other qualities, but you're not compatible with that particular person. So as a result, you cannot build anything sustainable with that person. Other person has all these qualities, but the character does not complement the qualities. So also then you end up saying, we must just throw it out. So your checklist has to be very thorough. Your checklist needs to include personal traits. It has to include the type of character that you want. It needs to include your faith, very much more important. And holistically, all of this makes up your shopping list. So when you find someone that has approximately 80% of those qualities, because leave room for imperfections, because there will be some things that are not necessarily what you desire out of a person, but because they're not such a major deal, you could build with that particular person.
Okay, thank you. So now we're getting into the other questions. I'm going to read the questions from the phone, so don't mind me. So question number 1.1: How important is it to wait before marriage, and what are the benefits of waiting?
The importance of waiting is, while you're waiting, what are you doing with the waiting time? Because there are literally seasons in life. When you are single, don't be in a rush to get into a relationship. Build yourself academically, financially, mentally, spiritually. Build yourself so that when you meet someone that you want to get married to, that person is equipped. So the waiting time is preparation, equipment time. If you rush out of that phase, you will literally lose out on what I've just highlighted previously. So it is important. Waiting has its own space. It has its own time. It has its own phase in the cycle of relationships. So don't rush to get into a relationship. Wait, take your time, and you as well, you will save yourself a whole lot of heartache if you take the time to wait, discover yourself, know yourself. But part of the other reasons that sometimes people are problematic in relationships is because they don't know themselves and they're experimenting using other people. So it is important that when you get into a relationship, you need to be mentally, spiritually, physically matured. And maturity comes with time. And for you to be able to reach that stage, you need to invest into time, into yourself. Invest in yourself. So the time alone, the time waiting is preparation time, and it's a blessing because, believe me, sometimes when you are married, you still miss the times that you were single. So don't rush out of that phase because you think that the world is running out of men or women.
Please explain what it means to be equally yoked in a relationship. Is it a religious aspect or a personality trait aspect?
The context of do not be equally yoked with someone comes from the Bible. I think in the book of Corinthians, where Paul speaks to married when one wants to get married, and Paul says do not be unequally yoked with a believer and an unbeliever. The scriptural context was being married together with someone who is not of the same faith as you. Then Paul uses that idiom because that's not that metaphor, because it comes from when you yoke cows and they're going to be plowing the ground. You would literally pair cows to be able to achieve the same objective. So literally these two cows are yoked. There's something that is put on their neck. They are pushing the burden behind them to be able to plow the ground. So to be unequally yoked comes from this. So imagine you are yoking two unequal cows. One cow is huge and the other one is still a calf. So ultimately these two cows that are yoked together won't be able to achieve the ultimate objective. So to be unequally yoked is to be yoked with someone who is not of equal faith as yours. That is the scriptural context. But we take it further in a sense that when we speak about equal yoke, the most important obviously is the faith. The second that you need to, where it is also applied is the intellectual yoke. You could have somebody who is of the same faith, but you are not necessarily of the same intellectual capacity, and as a result there is no equal yoking. And literally some other circumstances of life are sometimes you find them, they've got such an impact in that they hinder the progress of the relationship, and there isn't an equal yoke. We are not of the same mind, we are not of the same heart, you are not of the same objective and purpose. For example, a typical example would be you are a lady, you are yoked with a guy, and this particular guy, you are both of the same faith, and you must forgive my bluntness. Okay. Or someone, for example, you are a doctor, let's say for example you are a doctor, and on the other hand you've got somebody who is, let's say for example, a petrol attendant. So in most, you see that there is something on the physical or on the natural. I'm not saying that such relationships do not work, but it becomes an unequal yoke if the petrol attendant, because of his status, he feels intimidated by the doctor, and he ends up needing to recompensate for the gap by using his masculinity to subdue the wife, because he'll be feeling inferior and intimidated, and he ends up saying, no, just because I'm a petrol attendant, it does not mean I do not have an opinion. And he literally has to overcompensate because he feels like his ego is stroked. So some equal yoking as well in such situations, you are unnecessary. It's unnecessary. But as well, such relationships, they do work if the person has enough confidence and mental intellect to be able to differentiate through the issues of life. So sometimes equal yoking as well in such a situation is applied, but initially scripture speaks about to be equally yoked in terms of faith, but we take it a step further and apply it to all things of life.
I had no idea that cow illustration is very profound. Wow, that is wisdom.
Right. Lie to the people.
Okay, is it mandatory to tell your parents about every single one of the people you date to avoid doing things in the dark, or just introduce to the one you think is the one?
It depends. The reason parents get involved in relationships, or the reason you tell your parents, number one, is so that you can gain from their wisdom, gain from their guidance, and gain from their experience. But however, some parents, for example, let me put it this way, it depends on the relationship you have with your parents. It depends on the type of parents that you have. For example, in the white culture, it is something that would be encouraged, it's something that is acceptable. The parents are less formal, and the parents are less restrictive. Yes, they are less restrictive, right? And they want to be involved, they want to give some form of input, but not necessarily all white, but mostly from what I've seen and what I've experienced. Versus traditional black parents, who on the other hand don't even want to hear the word boyfriend in their roofs. So in such situations, if your parents are liberal, you can, and they want to be involved, and because the reason you involve them is to gain from them, is to gain wisdom from them. If they're able to be involved here, you can tell them. If you've got formal parents that very formal, less liberal and strict, they are no nonsense, they are saved, Holy Spirit filled, sanctified, and tongue talking, then you may have to find perhaps somebody that you can trust, someone that you can open up to, somebody that will be able to assist you navigate issues of relationships, and then only approach your parents, because since parents differ, if your parents are very formal, they're strict, then you'll only get to approach your parents once you think that this is the one, depending as well on the type of parents that you have. But the reason we tell our parents is not because also remembering that your parents are not necessarily your friends. They are parents, they give guidance, they give wisdom, and they parent. So if you are open to that and your parents would be okay with you opening up and hearing the details as you may see it, then there's nothing that's stopping you actually benefiting that. They'll give you guidance.
Okay, hey, our black parents, but we love them anyway. So, what is cheating exactly? And is cheating a good enough reason to dump my boyfriend?
Cheating. Depends what kind of cheating. What are we talking about? Is it sexual? Is it sexual?
Is it spiritual? Is it physical?
Yeah,
is it emotional? They didn't specify.
They didn't specify. No. So I'll take it. If, for example, you are cheating, you are in a relationship with someone, and this particular person has a relationship with somebody else on the side. It's just an emotional attachment to another person other than the person that you are intended to be attached to.
Yes.
Then in that particular case, particularly if you are still dating and you're not married, if somebody finds themselves attached to somebody else other than you in a romantic way, then that means that should be a red flag. That should give an indication that something is wrong, and it's up to you to go and investigate what is wrong that is not working. There is an alarm is going off of yours. Duty is to go and investigate what does this alarm signal, and find out and talk to the person what is going on. Because if a person is unable to be faithful to you while you are dating, you need to ask yourself, will this person be able to be faithful to you while you are married? Hence, that is why that issue, waiting to build your character, learn the ability to wait, learn the ability to master self-control, so that when you are in a relationship, you are able to put those life skills, those character skills into play. When you are in a relationship with another person, you're able to control yourself and be able to put on boundaries, because you've gone through the phase of being single and closed-minded from other people. So when you are literally single and you're in that phase where you are waiting, you literally close off the world. You close off the world and you focus entirely only on yourself. And during that time, you're mastering the ability, hopefully, to control yourself and learn things about yourself.
Okay, yeah.
But if somebody is cheating, then it's a red flag. That is just an emotional attachment. Number 2, sexual cheating as well. It's a red flag. It's a red flag. Relationships, even when people cheat, relationships are able to work. But if you are able to completely forgive, when somebody cheats, you are able to completely forgive and move away and never go back into that, and that cheating does not necessarily make you insecure, then you are able to resalvage that relationship and build up and pray and hope that they don't repeat the same mistake again. If you're going to go on after somebody cheats and you're able to forgive them without ever bringing it up and using that particular incident against them. But if you are unable to do that, then it will be best for you to split, because you can't, if you're saying I'm going to forgive you, 3 years down the line, you remember what you did, what, and then every single day you must constantly be checking, so then you are still a slave of that particular incident. And do yourself and give yourself the benefit of just letting it go and starting afresh with somebody else that you can trust, that you can love, that you don't necessarily have to police based on the past.
Okay, let me take it a step further and ask, what if now you are in a relationship with somebody who's a flirt? Like, he flirts with every Tom, Dick and Harry that he meets or she meets.
Why would you be flirting with other people when
because people just do, I don't know.
Then are you comfortable with that flirting?
No, not at all.
Did you communicate that you don't like this particular, and then it still continues? It
still continues.
You see, the problem would be the person persisting to do something that they know offends you. And if somebody persists to do something that they know that you don't like and it hurts you, that means it is a problem. You need to then look at, how do you see me? What am I to you? So it's a problem. Today it could be flirting, and if you are able to go off, for example, on the road, if you are able to veer off the yellow lane, there is nothing that's stopping you from going completely off and crashing on the barrier. So you'll start with a flirt, you'll end up in the panties.
Okay. Like, it's not nice, it's not cute, let it go. What's the fundamental difference between marriage and a relationship? So dating and marriage in general.
Fundamental difference is the one you're married and that. No, I'm kidding. The difference is, obviously, marriage, you are in a life partnership, you are in a life commitment, you are a slave to another person, you are a servant to another person, you are extremely, entirely, exclusively another person's person. Your body, your mind, your soul belongs to that particular person. You do not have the freedom to go and be with another person other than the person that you are enslaved and married to.
Enslaved, okay.
Right? Well, when you are in a relationship, you are casual, you are informal, you've got the latitude to move on, you've got the latitude to dump and move and go and explore and flirt and do all these other things. But you got basically freedom because you are literally a free agent. You are not committed to anybody. While in the marriage, we pray and hope that you are slightly a bit more mature to be able to know what marriage requires of you. So marriage is extremely it's a lifelong commitment. Whereas the just to date is very much casual. There's nothing holding you back. There's nothing. You simply stay there because you want to stay, because it suits you. It works out for you. but not necessarily that you are not, if you are committed to the person, you're committed because you are committed. But with marriage, that it's got even legal implications. For example, when you legally married to somebody in South Africa, there are legal implications. Your assets becomes their assets depending on the type of marriage that the two of you have, and you've got obligations that you cannot run away from. So literally, marriage, you become one with a person. While you are dating, you literally have so much latitude and freedom, and you can just wake up today and say, I'm leaving, and nobody's going to stop you.
Okay. He's no longer a virgin, but he's no longer a virgin, but he's celibate. I'm a virgin. How do I move past his past without him feeling judged?
Well, girl, boy, listen. Just because you're a virgin doesn't make you holy, yeah.
That's okay. So true.
You don't necessarily become a holy person because of virginity. Virginity, it's something worth to be prized. It's a beautiful gift to give to your spouse one day when you get married and say, look, I've kept myself exclusively for you. You literally are going to be the first person, the only person that I will know in a sexual way. However, because life happens and we are human and we fall short and we fall into things, and we repent and we move on. So just because you've got a prior sexual experience does not necessarily make you less of a person. It doesn't make you less desirable, for as long as your character and your heart are right. It's just like any other sin. It's just that with this part, with virginity, it's just you get the benefit to give your spouse something that no other person can give on the wedding night. And I think we all literally have a past, and it is, even as much as you are a virgin, you have a past.
Yes.
You've got sins that God knows. We may not necessarily know, but the Lord knows. So if the brother has repented or the sister has repented, and they are working with Jesus and they got their march on and their light is held up high for the Lord, then so what? Their past, it literally matters not, for as long as you are able to go past the fact that they're not a virgin. And by the way, just as a free one, we don't be virgins forever. And I'm not saying go and break your virginity.
So second last question is, what is your opinion on opposite sex friendship in a relationship? Opposite sex friendships in a relationship.
If it means you are a friend, you are in a relationship, and then you are friends with the opposite sex.
Yes.
There is nothing wrong with it. You work with the opposite sex at work. We go to church with the opposite sex. We go to the mall with the opposite sex. The opposite sex is everywhere. Why would you have a problem with the opposite sex? Unless you are having a problem with the opposite sex. Then that's the problem.
Then that's when it's...
But ordinarily, we live harmoniously with the opposite sex. The opposite sex is good for our souls. It's good. They're good. They're good people. It's friendship. It's pure. Unless your own person, or because I think the question comes from a person that has insecurities in their own relationship, and as a result, the person does not want them to have opposite sex friends.
Yeah.
Because banana or they're going to cheat. Girls and boys, you do not own your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband. And you cannot stop people from relating, because just because they're out of your mind, at home, at work, at school, there is a lot of opposite sex. If you don't trust him, investigate why you don't have trust issues. But the reality is, we live in a friendly world. So let people be friendly. Let them be friends with opposite sex. Just don't have sex
with the opposite sex.
Just be friends.
People must stop having sex if they're not married. Don't do it, guys. It's not worth it. You gain nothing. You lose nothing. Well, you lose a lot.
Yeah, you just go around and acting inside the outside things in the outside
You must
with
remain
other
inside.
people. No, you must stick to your lane, keep your virginity, keep yourself, preserve yourself. You'll be well rewarded.
Hallelujah. Okay, last question. This is not really a question, but it's more of like a. Okay, it is a question actually. Any dating tips for non-sexual Christian dating young people?
Yo. Yo. Be honest with yourself. It goes back to what I was saying. If you are dating someone, what do you want out of that relationship? And I would assume people are not dating for the fun of dating, you know. You must date with intention, with a goal. I guess from the men who are dating, I would assume their goal would be to find somebody compatible that they can build a life with, that they can ultimately marry. That is dating with a purpose. You've got an intent. You are not just dating for the sake of dating. You've been dating for the past 20 years. So literally high school was a date. Today you're still dating.
Maybe I'm not chilling.
Yeah, if definitely am.
Please button.
So if
you're watching this, you just stepped up.
yeah, thank you. If you've been dating forever, I guess you've been dating forever because it works for you. But you must date. That's the tip out. Date with a purpose and date to build. And sometimes when relationships do not work out, it's a good thing, because at least you know that with that person it was not going to work, even if I was to build someone. So don't condemn yourself just because a relationship didn't work out. But the fact that it didn't work out, it is a blessing in itself. So imagine that you found out those reasons why it didn't work out, then it would have been a serious disaster. So be honest, explore the mind intellectually, build yourselves, build together, and be open, be open mentally, be mentally transparent in all things, and stay away from sex before you're married.
Stay away from sex before you're married.
And when you're dating, guys, have fun. The right side of fun, okay?
Yes.
Have fun. Don't just have fun. Have fun and be honest, and depending on the objective of the relationship.
Do you have any last words to say? I think those are your last words, but do you have any all-round dating as a man of God? What would you say, like, as your closing statement, as a drop smack? As in, like, we can quote you on this.
Date with a purpose. Don't be a casual dater.
Okay.
Yeah, you must be, when you are dating, you must be intentional. You must know what you want out of any relationship that you get into. There must be a purpose in any relationship that you get into. Don't just date because you are able to date. You must date because there is a purpose, that you are trying to find whether me and this person are compatible, particularly the Christian setup. I can't speak on behalf of the secular people who just date for fun, but if you're a Christian, I would assume that you are dating and prayerfully considering and seeking the wisdom of God about this particular person, or can this person and myself, can we build a family, can we build a marriage together, and if not, walk away and take time, recover, seek the Lord, and if it means to be single, heal from the breakup, and continue to empower yourself and be in the right space before jumping into the next relationship.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Ndaba. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe. So many of you guys are watching my videos but are not subscribing. So
Subscribe!
It's free. Come on. Thank you guys so much. We shall meet again next week when we invite our first married couple. Bye.